Hi guys, it's Dakota. Hope everyone had a great week and is having a great day. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that I use in my magic. And not that these are weird things, might be weird to some of you. I know a lot of witches use these things, and I'm talking about bones and other things that I use for different types of magic. I'm not going to be going into actually giving you the details of what I use the things for, because that's left up to the individual, and I do keep my magic pretty tight-lipped and pretty quiet. But I'll share as much as I can with you, and just to kind of give you some ideas if you've never worked with anything like this. All right, so we're going to move to the other side of the room where I have everything set up. It's still a little awkward, and but I think we'll be okay. So see you in a few. Okay, so here we are. I am in front of two separate altars. They're two different altars for two different reasons, and most of the items were over here for another reason, but a good majority of them belong to my devotional altar, and a couple belong to my ancestor altar, which is over there. And but there was a little something I was working on, and I asked to borrow those items from where they were, and I was told that would be perfectly fine. So they were over here, and I'm going to put them back here until I'm ready to put them back on the altars that they belong to. Okay. So the first thing that I wanted to show you is this, which I absolutely adore. And the reason I chose this area is not so much to show you my altars, but I needed like an area, I think, that you could like see things when I hold them up. But then I don't think that white is going to be very good. So I might have to try to make it go in the black area there. All right, so the first item that I have to show you this is a porcupine skull rattle, and it was made by a gentleman here in eastern North Carolina. He's not local to the area where I am, but he is Native American, and he goes to the different reservations, and there he can purchase various bones and other things like that that you can't get here in a store in North Carolina. Now, maybe in certain parts of North Carolina you are, but I know here where I am, they have some rules and some laws about what bones you can have in your stores to sell, which I found really actually kind of odd, because I've been to many pagan festivals, and they are not on reservations, and some of the vendors were selling different types of bones, which I have a few here to show you. So I'm not really sure how that worked, but anyway, I do know that we're not allowed to carry certain bones, so I don't carry them in my store for that reason, unless I absolutely know for sure that it's a-okay to sell those. But this is this is a porcupine skull, and he has painted a design on it, and I don't think the design really had any meaning of any kind. I think he just was making it, he just painted it how he felt. And it's just a rattle. It's got copper cones for at the ends of the leather, and it has, I believe it's called sinew. Sinew is what it's all wrapped and tied with. And then, of course, it has the rabbit pelt on it. And I use this, believe it or not, I use this a lot in ritual. I use this in chanting, in a lot of work with, I use it a lot in ancestor work. It's very, very, very powerful when you are in that trance state and you're using it just like you would a drum. It's really, really magical, and that it creates this really awesome energy that I really love. The other thing that now I got this at a festival, at a pagan festival. This is a deer skin stitched, dried and stitched. It's a little rattle. And this is probably, I kid you not, this is probably, of all my musical tools, that I love the most. And this is the thing that I use the most. And it fits. There's a little, when they dried it, there's a little indentation right there, and it fits my thumb perfect. And this just fits perfect in my hand. And I will just use this thing until I am just sweating. I mean, just chanting, and the energy it brings. It is, you saw me there for a minute. I was like, let me get into it. It's just a fantastic little tool. I don't know what's in it. I want to say, I almost, when I do it, it almost feels like, I hate to say it, but it's not, though. I don't think. It feels like BBs, but it's not. It's not. So maybe it's not rice. Maybe a type of bean, perhaps, or a seed. It has a beautiful tone. I know you guys can't hear it as well, but I love this thing. This is my rattle, and I love it. Okay, so the next thing I have, talking about my porcupine skull, I have several porcupine quills. Now, this one is pure white. I love it. It's pure white. And then the rest that I had are like this, or, they have some markings on it. Look how big that dude is. Could you imagine, like, getting stuck with that thing? I mean, look, it's as big as my arm from my crease, and sharp. So I got both of these from a guy. This was years ago. He was a Marine, and he was stationed in Africa and for a while. And, when I tell you these stories, I don't know. I only can tell you what the person told me. That's all I know. He told me that, and I believe him, he's pagan, and but he told me that they found it. It was already dead. That looked like something probably grabbed it, and then it didn't survive that. But I kind of found that hard to believe, because see how big these are? Whatever tried to get it is full of these. Anyway, that's the story that I was told. And they pulled the quills, and I now have a handful of them, and I love them. And so these go right in there. Okay. I just wanted to put those back because they're sharp, and I don't need to step on it. Okay. So the next thing that I'll show you is this. Now, I was told by the person that I bought this at a pagan festival, and they told me that it was a cow vertebrae. So, and it's pretty big, right? I mean, that's pretty big. So that's what they said, that it was a cow vertebrae. But I did have somebody tell me that it looked more like a deer vertebrae. I don't know. But I trust the people I bought it from, and they said it was a deer. In fact, not deer. They called it a bovine vertebrae. And so there's that. And what I do with this, and let me put it, let's see if you can see. Let's see, can you see it here? Oh, you might be able to see it there. No, let's put it here. I use it on my altar as a sphere stand. Isn't that the coolest? So, yeah, that's really awesome. That's what I use it for. And it fits perfect because this right here has a little indentation. Lighting sucks. Anyway, there's a little indentation right there. And so when you sit it, and then it's got these two little hooks in the back. Let me see. See those two little hooks in the back? So when you set this, it sits right in that little groove right there, and it rests on those two little hooks in the back. So it works perfect for like a little sphere stand. And this is actually fossilized coral, and it is really very cool. I'm not really drawn to a lot of water things. I don't do a lot of water magic. We talked about that in one of my videos. I have, and it worked for me, and it felt really good. And I probably should incorporate it more in my magical workings, but I am fire and earth, but mostly fire. And but anyway, I was so drawn to this. I wish you could see the colors. I know that you can't, but it's like this beautiful deep blue ocean down here, and then it goes up into like a sand color. See it? Isn't that cool? So yeah, so it holds it really well, and so I like that. Okay, let's see. So, well, we're talking about cows, bovines, whatever. I'll go ahead and show you this, and I bought this at the same festival, which is why I believe that that is a cow vertebrae, because I also bought this. This is cow tooth. Try to get it in that black. There we go. Cow tooth. And I'm assuming maybe the back. I don't really know. I'm not really sure why I was drawn to that. But I was. And when I got it home and just started, it's just kind of cool how their teeth are. This was probably up in the gum. After I got it home and just, cleansed it and whatever, I didn't really care for its energy. It's not a bad energy. It just really didn't, I don't know, didn't really do anything for me. Now, my devotional altar, which is where most of my bones stay, the funny story about that is I use the very front of the altar because I have my goddess, and her stuff is pushed kind of to the side back of the altar. It's a big table, and so that I have a little area in the front to kind of, if I need to do just a tiny little something, not magic, I don't do magic there, but I'll place things there to cleanse or to charge or whatever. And sometimes she thinks I brought that for her. And you go to get it and you know that she's just going, mm-mm. So it was sort of that feeling with it. And so anyway, it's in her bowl. So it just stays in her bowl. I don't work with it. Then the next thing I have, ow, bones are sharp, be careful. I have this little vertebrae, I'm with the wrong hand, this little vertebrae, and I was told that it was snake. I don't know. I don't know. That looks big to me, but it is very, pointy, like snake bones would be. But it's real thick, though. I mean, this is kind of thicker than what I would think a snake vertebrae would be. But anyway, that, or someone told me they thought maybe a fish, could be a fish. I don't know. I also I found this one in my back of the woods of our property, and it was just laying on the ground, just this. So I don't know what this is. This could be a deer vertebrae, or, I mean, we live in the woods, so, and hunters, they shoot the deer and they just leave everything, and they just have no respect. And but things die, and who knows, this could be from somebody's meal and a raccoon got into the meal and dragged it off. So because I don't know exactly what these two bones are, I will not work with them. Until I can absolutely 100% identify these bones, I'm not going to work with them. I don't put them in my bone throwing bag because I don't know the medicine of these. I don't know the animal spirit of these. And so if you don't know the animal energy, it's kind of hard to work with something. I don't want to say, oh yeah, well, I was told this was a snake, and then you find out, well, no, it's a rabbit or something like that. So so both of these bones, because I don't know 100% what they are, they're just sitting in her bowl until I know 100% sure I'm not using them for any kind of magical working. Now, this is a goose bone. I got this at another festival, and it feels so sweet. I love this bone. It just feels very sweet. This was a bone that when I bought it, I said, oh, it feels so sweet. I mean, I loved it. And I said, I'm going to put this in my bone throwing kit. But I brought it home and I put it on the altar, and about, I don't know, 3 days later, 4 days later, I went to get it, and I don't know about you, if any of you work with deity and when they want something, like, you can just feel it, you can just tell. So this also stays in her bowl, and it's not in my bone throwing kit. I don't use it for my own stuff. Now, what I do use, I don't use this one, but these are very easy to come by. A wishbone. I use wishbones all the time. Very easy to get if you eat chicken. If you eat turkey, I don't, but if you, well, I mean, I do, but I don't go get like a full turkey and eat the whole thing. But, we get rotisserie chicken, or we bake a chicken or whatever every now and then, and I keep the wishbones because you dry them out, and if you're trying to manifest something, if you're trying to bring something to you, that's kind of like a wish, and so, some good things to happen, and you could do all kinds of things with it. And when you're done, you can put this in, you can bury it, because it will just go back into the earth. So I like that. I use them all the time. I use the wishbones all the time for that. One of the coolest things that I like to work with is an alligator tooth. That's this right here. Oh, come here. An alligator tooth. All right. So now it's not sharp. So I don't know if they have dulled it or if alligators, I thought they had sharp teeth. I don't know. But what's cool about these is, now, again, now these I order from a wholesale distributor. I can only hope that it was a humane thing. Like, they kill the alligators. There's so many of them, you know, in like Florida and Louisiana and all of the bayou states, and they eat that meat. So you know, I don't know. I mean, I if I'm getting them from a company, I can only assume that they're not just going out and killing the alligator for the teeth, because these come clean and packaged and everything. So I'm hoping that, you know, if they killed the alligator, that people got to eat the alligator, and then they took the parts, and, you know, I bought it. Okay, so whatever. Anyway, what's cool about these is they're hollow, not the whole tooth, but they're hollow enough that you can fill those with herbs, or take a little, like, fortune cookie size piece of paper, write your intention, write your spell work, or whatever it is that you want on there, roll it up, stick it in there, add some herbs or some mashed up stones, you know, grind some stones, resins, whatever, and seal it with wax. Seal it with wax. That's a powerful amulet. You can keep that with you if you want, or talisman. So you can keep that with you. Maybe put it in a gree bag or a mojo bag, whatever you like to call them, as a good luck thing, maybe, positive energy. Fill it with stuff to keep negativity away from you, whatever. And but if you're using it in magic and you need to dispose of it after the magic is done, I would take mine down to the swamp, or I take it down to the river, or even here to my creek bed, and we have a creek out here, and toss it in the creek, or bury it, because it's a tooth. So I don't feel bad about that, disposing it that way. Okay, quickly, the last thing that I want to talk about is something that I have used. I don't have one of these. I'm going to tell you. It's a dauber, a bee dauber. Those are the sweet ones. They eat horseflies, which are really bad, because the horsefly will actually take a piece of your DNA with them when they bite you. They take your skin and fly away and gnaw on your skin, and meanwhile you got a hole. They're really aggressive. They're very mean. And so the mud daubers, that's what they're called. So the mud dauber keeps the horseflies away from my horses. So we find mud dauber nests all the time in the barn. So after the daubers have done their nests and they're done for the season, we will scrape the nests off, and then I have mud dauber nests to use for magic. This, however, is a wasp nest, and or hive, and of course it was done. It was dead, and you can see where it was hanging right here. It was hanging like that in the corner. And it was done. There's all the wasps and everything had already flown out. I haven't used this one. But what I would use one of these wasp nests for is, and please don't send me any bad, you know, hateful comments about do no harm. A little sting every now and then doesn't hurt. So it's, you know what I mean? So it's good for that. It's good for all different kinds of magic, but you know, I will tell you that I have used it to, this might sting a little bit, but taste your own medicine kind of thing. Nothing harmful like, you know, whatever. I hope a tribe of bees comes and gets you. Nothing like that. I'm not that kind of person. But that's what it's good for. So anyway, I just thought I would share some of the fun stuff with you. I'm looking across the room. I've got other things too that I like to use. I've got snake skin. I've got whole snake skins, and I also I find snake skins, because sometimes when they shed, you just find pieces around. Collect the pieces. I use them in herb, not herb bags, in well, like gree bags, or you know, spell bags that I make for people. I also make little amulets, clear tubed, and we use snake skin in them for protection or whatever other properties snakes have. They're good for releasing. Oh my gosh, they're so good for releasing, letting go, shed the old skin. I've got deer skulls, and I've got some alligator heads. Again, all of those things I can only hope and pray. I have a cat skull I'm looking at with my deity up there, and I was given that. I was told they found it in the backyard. I hope that they did. Anyway, so that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was kind of fun. It was a little bit different to share those items with you. So I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment if you want. Share with your friends if you want. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.